Okay, good afternoon all. In previous lecture we discussed about that is morphological and anatomical adaptation in the xerophyte. Okay, you know that what the morphology, that is external character, how this external character get modified according to this xerophytic condition, as well as the internal structure of these xerophytes, how will be the modified according to their xerophyte. You know that now. Hence the another important character this now this how these morphological and anatomical characters are changed according to xerophytic condition, they are adapted, because their adaptations, that is the morphological and anatomical, is dependent on the chemical reaction that are conducted inside their plant body. Okay, this is known as the physiological process. You know that in the physiology, that is a metabolic reaction, that is a anabolic and catabolic reaction, both are take place, that is product formation, product breakdown. Okay, this reaction will be the take place, and this will be the influence on the formation of the, that is morphological adaptation as anatomical adaptations. That's we can see this physiological adaptation. What types of the physiological adaptations are take place inside the plant body in the xerophyte? We can see here that is the first is the succulent xerophyte. As you see, succulent xerophyte means that is storage. Succulent xerophyte contain polysaccharide. This is another this is the important note, that is contain polysaccharide. Polysaccharides means this consists of the more than the 10 glucose molecules. Okay, sugar molecule, you can say polysaccharides. Pentosense, this is known as another, this is a polysaccharide molecule, that is a pentosense. This succulent xerophyte contains pentosense and number of acids, and they consist of number of various acids by virtue of which they are able to resist the drought. Against the drought, they will be from the pentazones. Okay, these pentazones are hygroscopic in nature. They absorb the moisture from the airs and try to live these plants. Okay, as well as a number of the acids are present inside these cells. Okay, which helps the, that is a beta glycine. Okay, leaf proteins. That is a lot of this stress tolerance, you can say that drought tolerance. These acids are present inside the cells, and these are fight or resistance against the drought. One minute. The structural modification in the succulent xerophytes are directly governed by their physiology. As you see, the structural modification, that is instead of leaves there is a present of there is spine is present. Okay, stem are very thick, covered by bark, as well as the succulent. Okay, as you see in the opuntia. Root that is root system is well developed, vascular bundle is well developed. That is a structural modification. This structural modification in the succulent xerophyte is directly governed by their physiology. This is dependent by the physiology. Now, metabolic reaction which include the development of induce the development of succulents in the conversion of polysaccharide into pentazones. This metabolic reaction take place. As you know that the glucose is a when you photosynthesis process done, glucose is a major important product form. But this glucose will be converted into the polysaccharides. Okay, because number of the glucose molecules comes together with linkage by beta glycosidic bonds, and then from the one another important structure, that is polysaccharides, that is known as the pentosenens. This is important for pentosenens. This pentosenens, now what is the function of this pentosenens? Why glucose is converted into pentazones? Because pentosenens are hygroscopic in nature. Their nature is the hygroscopic. These pentosenens are having hygroscopic nature and absorb water molecule, and they absorb the water molecule from the ears. That is the moisture, I say. That is, the pentazones are hygroscopic in nature and they absorb the water molecules. The accumulation of excess amount of water result in the development of the succulents in plant organ like leaf, stem and root. This is this due to the accumulation of excess amount of water, because root having function that absorption water, as well as these pentazones helps in the absorption of water from the air. Therefore, there is more an amount of water will be stored in these organs. They form the succulents. Okay, the accumulation of excess amount of water result in the development of succulents in plant organ like leaf, stem and root. This is the three importance, that is a plant organ where this water will be the stores, and they form the succulent. This is first point is clear. Then we move on next point. This is another important regarding to the physiology, that is regarding to the stomata. As you know that the stomata present in the xerophyte is the that is a we can say that is a this stomata is known as the stomata of succulent plants are open during the night and they remain closed during the day. Okay. As you see, the stomata of succulent plant, these stomata are open during the night. This stomata, as you see the normal plants, in normal plants what happens when light comes, okay, these will be the open during the day and closed at the night when light is off. But as you see the stomata, that is a succulent plant in the xerophytic, this stomata will be the open during the night and closing during the day, because when this will be the open during the day, there will be loss of waters, okay, and this will be the harmful to the plants. But when these are open during the night, there is no more temperature, there is no sunlight, okay, therefore rate of transpiration will be the very less in the amount. Therefore this is the for the controlling the rate of transpiration, this stomata open get during the night. Therefore the stomata of succulent plants are open during the night and remain closed during the day, and these are the remain closed during the day. This unusual feature is associated with metabolic activity of these plants. Okay, this also related to the opening and closing is depends on the metabolic there. During night time, these plants are respire and produce acids. During the night time, what happen? There will be the photosynthesis process take place. That is a CAM pathway. We can cross that is a acid pathway जो आहे त्याला CAM pathway म्हणतात, जो झिरोफायटिक प्लांट मध्ये आपल्याला दिसून येत असतो. ओके, तो आपण तुम्हाला मे बी सेकंड इयरला असेल तो. याच्यामध्ये काय होत असतं की ड्युरिंग द night time this plant respire and produce acid. This during malic acid will be the formed at the night. This will be from the malic acid. This will be from the malic acid during the night. The accumulation of acid in the guard cells increase their osmotic concentration, which caused inward flow of water in the guard cells. When guard cells become turgid and stomata open. Now during the night this acid will be from due to acid will be the store in the guard cells. This guard cell accumulate absorb the water from the synergids, the subsidiary cells, and they become turgid and stomata will be the open. This happen during the night. When guard cell become turgid and stomata open in sunlight, acid dissociate. But when sunlight come during the day, what happens is then this acid malic acid converted into peptides. That is a phosphenol pyruvate. In sunlight, acid dissociates to produce carbon dioxide, and they form the carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide is again used for the photosynthesis process. In sunlight, acid dissolved to produce carbon dioxide, which is used in the photosynthesis, and result of this osmotic concentration of cell sap decreases, which ultimately causes closure of the stomata. Due to the now acid is converted into the another product, carbon dioxide and PEP. Therefore concentration of acid inside the cell will be decreases. Therefore ultimately loss of water from the guard cell take place. Therefore closure opening of the stomata closure of the stomata take place during the day. Likewise this metabolic process will be these metabolic processes help in the opening and closing of the stomata. Now second physiologically important, the chemical substances in the cell saps of xerophytes are actively converted into the cell wall forming compound like anhydrous cellulose, suberin, etc. Now here they can say the chemical substances in the cell sap. Those chemicals present in the cell sap, in the cell lot of chemical are present, that is a glucose will be stored, okay, like that is silicons and number of the chemicals, calcium, magnesiums, like that is a lot of chemicals are present inside that. The chemical substances in the cell saps of xerophytes are actively converted into the cell wall forming component. Cell sap of xerophytes are actively converted into the cell wall forming component like anhydrous cellulose and suberins. This compound like glucose converted into the directly cellulose, because cellulose is made up from the glucose molecules. Now this excess glucose is formed in the cell sap. Okay, this will be converted into the cellulose as well as the suberin. These are the major component of the cell wall. They give the protection to the inner plant body of the cells, and finally incorporated into the cell, and these excess molecules of the glucose is finally incorporated into the cell wall. Now next importance, that is in xerophyte, the enzyme like catalase, peroxidase are the more active than mesophytes. As you see, this is the trace, we can say this is the trace enzymes. Okay, when any problem take place inside the cell wall, okay, that is emergency, you can say this is the emergency enzymes. That is catalase, peroxidase. When harmful, that is hydrogen peroxide will be from H2O2. Then peroxidase is the enzyme where they will be converted into oxygen and water molecules. Likewise, this catalase and peroxidase are more active than in mesophytes, because xerophytes plants are majorly in the where temperature is high, scarcity of water. Therefore, there are lot of incidents, that is accident. There is chance of the major accident of the singlet oxygen will be the formations. This will be the harmful oxygens will be the formation take place, and this will be the harmful the plasma membranes of the cells. Therefore, these catalase and peroxidase enzymes which reduce the impact of the singlet oxygens are converted into the useful oxygens. Therefore, these are the very active in catalase and peroxidase in the xerophytes. The starch hydrolyzing activity of enzymes is highest in the xerophyte. There are some starch hydrolyzing enzymes also present, which helps in the reducing of the starch into the glucose, because glucose is the important source of the energy for any plant. Then the protoplasm of xerophytic cells show maximum resistance to the heat and desiccations. Okay, because of the intensity of the sunlight in the at the xeric regions is very high. Okay, therefore there will be the heat injury will be the take place, or desiccation of the cell will take place. But these osmotic regulants are present inside the cells, that is beta glycines or prolines enzymes. These are the amino acids are importance for reduce their heat resistance to the heat and desiccation. Regulation of the transpiration, presence of cuticle. Then transpiration process, this is a very important. This regulation of transpiration, presence of cuticle, polished surface, compact cells, and sunken stomata protected by the stomatal hair regulate the transpiration. You know that these are many times I told that this adaptations is very important. This few adaptation is very important. That is sunken stomata. Inside these stomatal hairs are present. Then that is compact arrangement, cuticle, polished surface. These are the very important things which are prevent the rate of the transpiration. Now, the cells of xerophytes have very high osmotic pressures, which result in the increase of the turbidity. The cells of the xerophyte, as you see, the cell of xerophytes have very high osmotic pressure. They are having very high osmotic pressures, which result in the increase of turgidity. When the high osmotic pressure, turgidity will be increases, and turgidity of the cell sap exert tension on the cell wall, which prevent the wilting of the cells. Because of this pressure is finally exerted on the cell wall, therefore wilting of the cells not take place, because there will be the chances of the breakdown of the plasma membranes. But excess pressure is exerted on the cell wall, therefore the wilting of the cell will be the stop. Okay, this is about the few physiological characters of the xerophytes. Okay, in next lecture we see that is a hydrophyte, that is the anatomical, morphological and physiological adaptations in the hydrophytic plants. Okay, we can stop here.